Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for Building Credit and Customer Relationships. If you don't know me, I am Lori Drake. I'm the new Payment Professionals Community Manager for LevelSet. I was a credit manager for 20 years, as well as in construction for the last 13 years. And so I get to take my education experience on my networks and share that all with you guys, get to join other people from my network. They get to do the webinars, help with classes, and we just try to help all the current credit professionals as well as all those up and coming. Today is my pleasure to introduce Robbin Windham. She's a credit manager for BNSF Logistics. She also was a credit manager for construction a few years back. She was just elected administrator of the Women in Leadership Executive Committee for her company. And she also received the CBA designation of excellence in 2019 from NACM. Thanks for joining us, Robbin.
Thank you.
So, sorry, next slide. Just in case nobody knows who LevelSet is or you're not sure what we do know that construction is a complicated subject. So everything we do, every product that we have, we try to help you obtain payments faster, get rid of your headaches. We have lien waivers, notices and intents. We can track all that for you. We have free education classes. We have webinars. We have a community to where you can network with other people and enjoy events. And we would love to have you be part of all of that. If you have any questions, just let me know. Right now, what we're going to cover today is why developing a relationship with your customer is essential. We'll talk about genuinely caring for your customers. Never say never, because you always wind up selling to somebody that you said you weren't going to, as well as coming up with a solution. First, I would like to let you know that there is a chat box up on your screen. If you just hover over your screen there, you should find a chat box. Please feel free to ask questions as we go. We will try to answer them as we go, or at least get them all at the question and answer at the end. Robbin, as your motto says, salvage the relationship before you sever the relationship. Why is the relationship with a credit manager, or that a credit manager has, so important to have with their customer?
Well, first of all, building the credit customer relationship is a valuable currency in this day and time. Competition is at an all-time high for all industries. So building relationships improves sales and collections. It's also improving the relationships, or your relationships, to help ensure there will be a mutual understanding between you and your customer, along with your employer.
I definitely agree with that. You had mentioned to me before that a successful credit manager actually cares. They don't really just go through their job day by day. They actually genuinely care for their customers. Can you explain this more in just kind of the three categories that you picked there?
Yes, first of all, communication. Building your relationship with your customer begins with the conversation during the initial account opening process. So getting the account set up, correctly and according to your customer's requirements. I've heard many times how companies don't even notify their new customers that their accounts are ready and opened and available, let alone talk to them about what your expectations are from them as a customer, and along with knowing your customer's expectations from you, or how your customer prefers to communicate. Is it via email, phone, text? Most day and time right now it's probably email, but there's still some customers that like that phone conversation, or even now Zoom, so to have that in person. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a minute.
That's okay.
So then and then to build the trust, the conversation has to be focused on making sure the customer believes that you are genuinely interested in getting to know them, and making sure that they are taken care of, and that you are looking out for them and for their best interest as well. But also your communication starts with your sales team. Your sales team is your eyes and ears. They're going to be the ones that can let you know things before you probably even hear them, what's going on with your customer, what they know about your customer, because they've built that first initial contact and relationship. So just getting information from your sales team and having a good relationship, working and collaborating with them, helps get you an open door and to help make your customer feel comfortable. And then when you talk with your customer, just personalize the relationship. Don't be black and white script. They're going to notice that. Just be you. Get to know them and make them feel that you are genuinely interested, and that their interest is number one at that time. Just basically over deliver and under promise. Let the customer know how important they are, and you will make sure that everything with their account is correct, from the onboarding process all the way to receiving payment, and just making everything as smooth as possible and as painless as possible for your customer. Then we talk about the verbal and nonverbal communication. Always smile when you're talking with your customer, especially over the phone. Your smile is going to reflect your tone. And use positive words and phrases. Be proactive listening, no interrupting. Show empathy, by saying, I realize how difficult this is, or I understand, just things like that. Don't come across as defensive and try to prove your case. Customer visits, with COVID-19 going on this past year, it's been very difficult for customer visits on site. Some companies, they don't require that, and they don't allow customer visits, but if you can, customer visits are essential. The customer not only gets to see you face to face, it gives you an opportunity to see their property, meet some of their team, and you can see a lot and learn a lot about a customer during an on-site visit. Is their property well kept? Is their building maintained? If it's not, those could be some red flags for you in your credit decisions. And then the customers, they like talking about their locations, their company. Get them talking about that. The more they talk, the more you're going to learn about them, and they'll help you in your decisions when it comes time for credit limits or increases, or those hard conversations.
Perfect. Yeah, customer visits were always one of my favorite things when I was doing credit. I mean, if they like you, they're going to pay you before anybody else. You just got to make sure they like you as opposed to going the other direction. So never say never is probably something that all credit managers have experienced. I'm never going to sell to this person again. Oh, I had to sue this person. I'm not going to do this. I'm sure plenty of us out there know that you do usually wind up selling again to those people. I'm going to throw a little pitch here. If you haven't seen Thea's class in our Credit Management Academy, it's just LevelSet/Credit Management Academy. She has a section of her class where she also talks about the never say never, and she's got some great horror stories. But in the meantime, this kind of goes with your motto about, not severing a relationship, keeping those relationships. Can you talk a little bit about, why you would never say never, or, you always try to say yes?
Absolutely. Of course, we're at BNSF Logistics, our goal is to say yes to every credit request or application. But you are right. Every one of us have had the thoughts, I'll never sell to them. They're not paying our competitors. However, we need to make sure we keep those thoughts to ourselves and not verbally communicate them. So we don't want to chance any violations of antitrust laws. But as for small claims, litigation, and liens, you just need to make sure that you have have the correct documentation. And so if an account is turned to litigation or does go to small claims, then you have your ducks in a row. And starting the first documentation you start with, make sure that credit application is accurate, is correct, is signed by the customer. Once a customer signs that, make sure you have on that credit application, make sure you have a disclaimer of your terms. And the customer is agreeing by signing the application. As you all know, the customer agrees to those terms. They are agreeing, yes, this is our legal entity name, and we do agree with your terms. Then that's a legal documentation to stand up in litigation or small claims, and possibly even liens. So that, to me, that's one of the most important documentations in credit, is to get that right. Then our competition, it's proven that if you have a relationship with your customer, that they'll normally choose to pay you over someone else if you have that strong relationship. A customer, they're gonna use many competitors, but if it's who builds that better relationship with them is the ones they're going to pay first most of the time. You can also build a relationship with your competitors by joining an industry group, an industry credit group, or a credit association such as NACM, National Association of Credit Managers, that I'm a member of as well. Building that network with your competitors, that can be very beneficial. You can share historical information and data so you can make better credit decisions with the customer, and just making those everyday decisions. Is there something going on with this customer that we haven't heard about? Maybe a competitor's heard about, and they'll share those with it. If you're a member of these industry groups or NACM, they're going to share that information as long as it's historical data. Now they're never going to say never. They can't say never, say never, and never, sell to that customer, or they're deadbeat. You want to avoid those. So, and just your personality, just be personable and open-minded. Do your research why a customer got where they are. If they're in a negative situation with your company, why? How did that happen? Was it a unforeseen circumstance? See if there's something you can do to help keep the relationship. Make payment plans. Can they be on milestone payments, 20% in advance? Then for the next leg, they pay another 20% in advance. And then for the last leg, it's on terms, 30-minute terms. This is especially a place where I would ask myself, I would say, I would rather salvage the relationship than sever the relationship. Make sure on your side that you do everything you can to salvage that relationship. I've had customers that has been in this situation, and they ended up being some of my best customers.
Before we go on, there is a question in the chat. It's asking if you can repeat those network association groups. Absolutely.
So I am a member of NACM, that's National Association of Credit Managers. Their website is NACM.
It's org.
Org. Yeah, I have to think it's .org. You can call National if you don't know what affiliate to sign up with, and they can direct you to the affiliate that's best suited for you in your area. Then the other one, I'm in the transportation industry, so I'm the chair of TRMG, which is Transportation Revenue Management Group, and it's a credit group for the transportation industry. I know for construction, there's Texas statewide through the NACM hosts as well, NACM Southwest, which I'm a member of that affiliate. Yeah, you're more than welcome to email me. I think Lori can share my email address at the end if you'd like more information on those groups.
Thank you. Yeah, to who asked that, there are so many industry groups out there. If you even just search, I mean, our community is going to share all those once we have our landing page. Be watching for that as soon as it comes out. But there's also like CRF and CRMA. There's so many different credit websites and associations out there. If you just Google industry groups for whatever industry you are in, you will definitely find a group, and they're all great people and you get a lot of information out of it.
Yes.
Coming up with a solution. So, you want to do all this, you want to figure out why your customer got the way that they got, how they're in their situation. It's pretty obvious that you're going to have to be the one to figure this out. So what are your thoughts on how to come up with a situation to fix whatever is going on for non-payment?
Well, first of all, look into your tools. Look at your toolbox. We've discussed, building up your loyalty, understanding and creating a strong foundation, for your company, becoming a member of a credit association so you can get the education, the help to answer your questions for some of these things. So, if a customer is exceeding a credit limit, using those tools that you already have to keep the risk as a minimal for your company is crucial. And what do you do when they exceed their credit limit or credit, they're on credit hold product or, products on back order? With me, I do my research, do your reviews, what's going on, ask those questions, what's going on, like Lean Six Sigma, the 5 whys, why, until you come to your answer. Work with that customer if they are exceeding their credit limit or they're on credit hold. What is it you can do to work with them and ask them, how can we improve this situation, and then listen to them and learn from them what you can do better. And they're going to remember that in the end. They're going to remember this company worked with me when we were going through a difficult time. They stuck by us. They worked with us. It may not be the ideal situation, but you're still, again, you're salvaging that relationship and you're building that relationship for a customer to become a loyal customer. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get paid first. Mm-hmm. So, help that customer grow their business. What can we do better to make your experience with us, easier or more beneficial? So just talking with that, communication is the number one key. Mm-hmm. Is, communicate with your customer, know them, know your customer, work with your sales team to get to know your customer, team up with your salesperson and see what you can do. This is what we can offer. Can we offer something better? Are we meeting your needs? Find out, you need to ask those questions. Are you meeting your customers' needs? Are you meeting their expectations? Yeah, it's not just them meeting your expectations.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So in summary, you talked about improving sales and collections by having that relationship with the customer, definitely customer loyalty, You build that relationship, you visit them, you get to know them, they get to know you. They are definitely more likely to be loyal, and then helping them grow their business. I mean, if there is a situation with them not getting paid, what can you do to help them fix the situation? You know, the customer will never come up with the solution themselves. So that is up to the credit manager, you know, to figure out how to do that. Right now, if anybody has any questions, we would love to have you fill out that chat box and get you some answers. Don't see anyone other than the network one yet. So I'll go ahead and, oh, here's one. I currently have a general contractor which was impacted by the COVID economically and have sent a couple of emails to arrange payments, but have had minimum payment at this point. It's been over 6 months. How should I approach this?
Ooh. Maybe ask them if they like to fish. No,
There you
I'm
go.
just teasing. I would be consistent and let them know you appreciate the payments that they have been making. Although you need to see a see if you can work out where they can make a larger payment, or when they expect they can start making larger payments. Maybe look at a payment plan. So and they're not going to come up with a payment plan. So offer a payment plan, and then see if they'll, you know, come back and say, okay, we can't do that, but maybe we can do this. So figure out how soon are you wanting that payment to be, that account to be current, and what's it going to take. So do you want to see it back within terms in 3 months? Okay, how many payments, what are those payments going to have to look like? And then offer that to the customer. You have to determine how much risk how long you want to take that risk on. Mm-hmm. The longer, we all know, the longer we wait, the harder it is going to be to collect. So the sooner you can get a payment plan, if your company will allow you to offer that, the better. So that's what we've done in the past, and that's worked very well for us. We've offered, so this is the payment plan we've come up with. Would this work for you?
Thanks, Robin. I'll add my 2 cents on there. It sounds like you're in the construction side. My first question would be is if you sent your notices and protected your lien rights. If you did, you hopefully would have all your dates down and could go ahead and file your lien, or you could go ahead and just send the demand that says you're going to file a lien. You could always go around the contractor to whoever the property owner is where your material went. There are several things that you could do construction-wise. If you wanted to reach out to me via email or Rhonda via email, our emails will be at the end of the slide. We can help you more specifically just so we can get an idea of what your true situation is. Next question is it appropriate to ask, has something happened recently that caused this past due issue?
I think it's very appropriate. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It just helps you identify maybe what caused the situation and the issue. Was it a natural disaster? If it was a natural disaster like COVID, you may want to extend a little bit more grace, a little bit more time. That may change how you want to set up payment. Maybe you want to give them extended terms for just a short while. I don't know. But it's definitely a great question to ask.
I agree with that. I definitely wouldn't give them options as an answer. Like, don't say, hey, did COVID cause this issue or anything
exactly,
like
yes.
that? Yeah, but no.
Let them answer what, like you said, what caused this issue?
Yes.
So don't give them options or ideas. Oh yeah, it was COVID.
Yeah, that's it. From Daniela, we got, hello, what's the best way to deal with a defensive or difficult customer over the phone?
For me, I have to take some silent, deep breaths and stay calm and smile. So, because if I don't, then my defensive tone may come across to them. If they're just, to me, if they are just absolutely belligerent and aggressive, I just say, I understand you're frustrated. This is where the empathy would come in. I understand your frustration and I want to help, but in order for me to help, we need to talk calmly.
One suggestion in these times, maybe ask the person if they can do a Zoom call, and then you can kind of get that face-to-face reaction. And sometimes that'll help you read them a little bit better. But other than that, I absolutely agree with what Robbin was saying. We got a question from Ludi, says, how do we determine if the signature on the application is from someone authorized to sign? It could be accounts payable, owner, management, or procurement. How would you know for sure?
On our credit application, we have the signature, but we also ask for the title of who's signing. Now, you can't prove if they put president. You can't prove they were the president actually signed that, or if it was the logistics manager or the, in construction, someone else on site. But again, that's where you have to just trust that they are, the person signing is the legitimate person. I think the title does help, and along with their name, I would also have them print, have a line where they print their name, because signatures are very hard to read, and then also make sure it's followed by their title.
I agree with that. And you could also Google the company and see if their name shows up as an owner as well. I always Google everything.
Owners and officers, yes.
Yep.
And a lot of your credit reports, some of them will show who the owners and officers are as well. But a lot of companies authorize, accounts payable person to be able to sign those and represent the company. So,
good question, though.
Yes.
From Rebecca, we got, what would be the best approach to implement a late fee penalty in order to avoid going to lien process? I don't know if you guys do late fees or not. For one, just quick on my side, for one, you need to check your state statutes to see if you're allowed to charge late fees. Another, you would have to make sure that it states in your credit application that they signed that you will incur a late fee. Like in Texas, you're not allowed to, I'm thinking credit cards, but as far as lien processes, I don't know that a late fee would stop you from having to send notices. I wouldn't want to give up my lien rights just for a late fee, because if they're not going to pay you on a regular amount, then they're not going to pay the late fee either. If they do pay the regular amount and not the late fee, you can't go after them for the late fee legally. So it's kind of a catch-22. I don't know if you have any experience with that, Robbin, sorry.
Okay, I'm called many things. No, we don't typically add late fees on right now. But again, like you said, you make sure you have that in your disclaimer on your credit application, and the customer is aware of that. And when they sign that credit application, they're agreeing to those terms. If your standard terms are net 30, and if there are late fees, then there could be a late fee charge added, and then they agree. And if they agree to those, and it does go to litigation or small claims court, even collections, they can collect on those. They can with those fees.
And I lied. We got one more question that came through. Have the ability to add late fees, interest, and or cost of collections. These items are great to add and use as a settlement tool to collect full principal. I think that's Tammy. I know who she is. She's saying to get it into your credit application, that you get the late fees, that you can get interest, cost of collections, attorney fees, you do have to make sure all that's in your credit application so that when you do go to small claims or litigation with an attorney, that you can recoup all those fees. Thank you for that, Tammy. So since that was our last question, this is the class I was talking about earlier with Thea Dudley. She is our credit overlord. She just had a new book that came out. You can find her book as well as her class on the Credit Management Academy at LevelSet. Right now we're doing a book download. If you will be entered to get a free copy of a signed book. And we also created a new bookmark that's really cool. That's actually going to come in each free book that is awarded. So feel free to go there and at least just download the book and take the class as well. And I just want to thank Robbin again for coming on here with us and sharing your expertise.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day to join the webinar.
And thank you, everyone. Hopefully we can see you at the next one.